Welcome back to the fourth official episode of the PO3 Podcast. My name is Marx.
I'm Victor Jr.
And we are Party of Three. So, what's up?
And you could go to partyof3.com or PO3podcast.com.
We should change it to .org just to be unorthodox. .gov, .net, something old school.
There's so many. There's even thousands of extensions out there now.
Yeah. You want to plug the NAMI website?
Yeah.
And the phone number?
NAMI is a national hotline for... God. That what it stands for. NAMI, National Alliance on Mental Illness. And you could go to NAMI.org. That's www.nami.org. Or you could phone their national hotline number, which is 1-800-950-6264.
And we're not sponsored by these people. This is just a place where you could reach out if you're struggling. Yeah, so what's going on, man? What's new?
What's new with the crew?
What has the day brought in you so far? How's your day?
My day is actually pretty awesome. I had a very productive day today. I had a meeting with one of my coaches and then another meeting with somebody else who's I'm working with on her book, and she's helping me out with my book. So...
She like a producer?
No, she's actually she writing her own children's book, and it should be out within the next 6 months. But I also had a meeting with my personal coach, Lisa Nichols.
Is she local?
Lisa Nichols?
Uh-huh.
No, she's down south.
And you met up with her today?
No. I had a phone conversation.
Oh,
with her,
okay,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah, she's a coach of mine. So, yeah, pretty awesome. Really productive. She's very inspiring.
How did her conversation with you affect the rest of your day?
Actually, it was pretty amazing. Anytime I have a conversation with her, it's amazing. People go to her website and or look her up, lisanichols.com.
She was the person that you heard on one of our last podcasts of the inspirational video. Yeah. That was her. Mm-hmm. So that's like your mentor?
Yeah, she's my personal mentor and coach. And she has classes and she does personal coaching. And people can find out about her on motivatingthemasses.com.
Would you say that talking to her and combined with the podcast is helping you? Do you think the podcast is helping you a little bit?
Oh, it is.
In a way, it's opening up.
It's opening up. But, you have to be willing to open up. You have to be willing to make the changes that you need in your life. Anytime that you're struck with anything that's sudden, you always, no matter who you are, you're always going to put up, in the beginning, a little bit of a front. Because people don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to see anything that's negative. They don't want, to believe stuff that other people believe. But when you put things into perspective and you know what's best for you and yourself, and as long as you're doing things for yourself, then that's the only thing that matters.
And that'll eventually result in opening up, is what you're saying?
Yeah. But you have to be willing to open up. You have to be willing to either share your story, be willing to face your own truth, be willing to face what you see and accept it as it is and move on, move forward. Every step is a step to your own greatness, even if it's the smallest step. Because a lot of people are afraid of opening up because of the fact that they're afraid of what other people are going to say or think. But in the end, it's just you. You can't be afraid of judgmental people, of anybody judging you, telling you what your next step is going to be, because ultimately it's always your own decision, and you have to be willing to take your own steps for the betterment of your own life, no matter what.
And if there's people in your life that are judging you because of how you feel or what you're going through, and they're judging you in a bad way, and they don't have anything good to say, maybe those are the wrong people in your life.
Yeah.
Maybe you should go down your checklist of contacts and see who's really benefiting you and who's just taking up mental space, unnecessary mental space. I actually did that recently, of people that I just thought I don't need to have around because they didn't contribute anything to my life. And I noticed that I was the only one reaching out. So I saw that as, friends are a relationship, or anybody that you know. Mm-hmm. It's considered a relationship if you really look at it.
Oh, yeah, everything is a relationship.
It works both ways. And I think that you should be able to reach out to them and see how they're doing and vice versa. And if it's only one-sided, just like any relationship, it's not going to work.
Yeah. And everybody has their ups and downs. You know, you're going to make a mistake. They're going to make a mistake. And, you know, when you agree on things or disagree and you apologize or accept apologies, or if you have your own opinion that you either present, and if nobody likes it, then you have to respect the fact that they don't like it. And if they do, then you respect that as well. But if it's a constant you, and you're the only one who's reaching out constantly, and you're not getting that positive feedback, then yeah, you need to make a change.
And that's exactly what I did, because I noticed over the years and over time, I was the only one sending the text messages and trying to get together and do things and seeing how they're doing, and I just wasn't getting any of that. Like, my phone would never ring unless it was, my mom or my partner or you guys or something like that. So I started to see a big problem with that, and every time I did end up going out and maybe hanging out with these people, I felt out of place. I felt like I didn't belong there because I was the one reaching out, and in the back of my head, I felt like they didn't want me there because they didn't reach out. So I had to remove that anxiety from my life. And maybe me in my head, but the proof is in the pudding a lot of the time. So they got to reach out to you too.
Because a lot of times it could be just that they're busy with their own life. And, you could be thinking like, oh, they just don't want to speak to me. But they could genuinely be busy in their own life. But if they are and they can never make the time for you, then it is time to go on.
And that's exactly what me and Peter were just talking about right now. I told him that at the end of the thing I just said about how they're not reaching out to me, I eventually said they do have their own lives too, and they got their own shit going on. They got their own relationships, and they have their own people that they reach out to. And if I'm not on that list, I mean, that's fine. It's nothing personal. That's just a decision that I have to make within myself to move on. And as much as it may hurt sometimes, or as much as you don't want to do it and face the reality of the situation, you have to realize that your energy and your time is very, very valuable, and you can't afford to waste that on people that aren't gonna have your best interests at heart.
Yep.
Because I value my relationships based on if they genuinely care about me or not. If they really care about how you're doing, because these people know more or less what I'm going through. Maybe not all of them, but the fact that they know that and they don't reach out says a lot to me. Because if I know that one of my good friends or somebody was struggling with anything, I would like to keep an eye on them and just send them a text message and check in on them. A lot of people don't check in anymore. That's a huge thing. A lot of people are just
especially if you care about them.
Yeah, especially if you care about them. You give that person a phone call and see where they're at during their day, just to check in on them. It don't got to be an in-depth conversation. Just give them a call and see how they're doing and see what they're up to, and tell them have a good day, and then hang up. I think text messaging replaced all that stuff.
Yeah. But how was your day?
It was good. I got up around like 7:00, and I had to take care of some stuff that I had been kind of putting off. So I took care of that. Ended up going to sleep for a little bit. Had some breakfast, and then
Nice.
yeah. I mean, I didn't really do too much today. The weather's kind of gloomy outside. I noticed that when the seasons start changing and stuff, I get a little less active. But I got to recognize that and start pulling myself out of it. But other than that, it was a good day. I have nothing to complain about.
How do you feel about how is this podcast doing it so far? How's it helped you open up or close up or anything? Other relationship with yourself, which is the big one.
I think in all three aspects, it's helping me open up. It's reflecting on my relationship because it's helping me be more open with that, and I'm getting more comfortable with talking about my issues rather than bottling them up like I normally do.
Typical guy, right?
Yeah. I'm getting, well, even, women do that. My partner does that as well. That's why I would like to maybe get her on here one of these days and see, if she can open up, because I know it's hard. But I think it's been helping me. Like, I think it's a form of therapy, really. Because the more you hold it in, the more you just get used to that. And the more you exercise opening up and letting it, the more you exercise opening up and letting it out, the more it becomes easy to just do that on a day-to-day basis. But
also,
I enjoy it. It's helping me.
Also is, we're not scripted. It's all unscripted. So it's all just real shit coming out, and just we're basically writing down key points and then just winging the whole thing, which is great because we're having a true normal conversation.
That's why I didn't want to script any of this. I just wanted to come in and more or less wing it and hope that we can hold the conversation about it, because I wanted everything that we said to each other to be genuine. I don't want you guys to think that I'm just reading some article on the internet.
Yeah.
Which sometimes we do, but we're just quoting shit and we want to quote it correctly and give you, accurate facts.
Yeah.
But most of the time we're just bouncing ideas off of each other and just seeing where the conversation takes us.
And that's how you have a genuine, real conversation with people.
Genuine.
And it's, we're not trying to whine, but, we're just trying to be real and get the truth out there and get a lot of shit off our back that we hold on to or that we know that I could, there's certain key points that I know how to work on myself that I could share with you and others that can help you, in life.
Expound on that. What are some key points? I mean, what are some ways that you deal with certain things?
Well,
just give an example of something. Maybe anxiety.
I don't really get anxiety that much.
Well, anything that you struggle with. What exercises do you use to?
Key exercise that I really work on, that I've been working on the last several months, is gratitude. I think I mentioned that before, but gratitude is one of the keys. See, I started to go to bed at night, no matter what situation has happened in my day, I lay down and I look over the whole thing. And I just think whether it feels bad or good. If it feels bad, I could use it as a stepping stone. Good, then great. It's the same thing, stepping stone and a lesson. And I'm grateful for every single experience that has happened. And then when I wake up in the morning, I think to myself, I'm grateful for waking up. I'm grateful what today is bringing to me. And today is an awesome day. No matter what today brings, will always be another thing that I could hold on to or lesson learn going forward. So that gratitude and being in gratitude and really feeling it changes your life, and it's amazing. Anybody could be in gratitude, right? So you sneeze, achoo. Oh, bless you. Oh, thank you. That's just a normal everyday thank you.
But genuinely meaning it, though, I think is the difference between real gratitude and just an illusion of gratitude.
And real gratitude, when you feel it deep down inside of yourself. You're like so grateful, like, oh, I'm so thankful that I have this or I have that. And a lot of people think that being grateful for everything that you have is settling. No, it's not. It actually helps you get more of what you want. So I'm grateful that I have a roof over my head, even if it's not your own roof, even if it's a roof that your friend allowed you to stay there. I'm grateful for my bed, or even being grateful for your friend lending you their couch to sleep on.
That's something to be grateful for.
Definitely. And really, truly being grateful. And there's certain situations that happen that you truly feel that gratuity, because I'm sure if you had nowhere to go and you're homeless and then somebody says, hey, you could have sleep on my couch. You sleep on their couch and you'll feel that gratuity, like, oh God, I'm so thankful that I'm actually here right now.
Just one more day of oxygen,
Yeah, instead of somebody opening the door and say, oh, thank you. Think about it. See how different that is? Or saying bless you because you sneezed. Oh, thank you. It's just automatic, something that you do. But do you really mean that? And so that's what I'm talking about, being grateful and being in gratitude for every moment of your life that's past, that's here now, and that's coming to you. Because when you feel that way, you open up the door for more greater good to come to you.
Yeah, it's all positive. I try to remind myself of, being grateful every single day if I can. There's going to be times where I don't always do that and I get stuck in my head And there's days where, you know, you feel depressed where it's harder to do that, but I think those are the days where it counts the most. And those are the days that you really have to take a second to look around and see what you do have. Because I try to do the same exact thing. I try to make sure that every little thing that that I've been given, or that I've purchased myself, or that just anything, any materialistic thing or spiritual thing, I try to recognize it for what it is and take a moment to take it in and say, you know what, thank you. Because a lot of people don't even have the opportunity to shower or sleep in a bed, like you said, or be able to go to their refrigerator and pull out a ice cold water, or, you know,
or even a beer if you want
a beer, you know,
whatever it is.
When I'm taking a shower, I always try to remind myself that I need to be thankful for this opportunity, that I'm indoors and I have hot water on my body and I can just leave it on for as long as I want. And I can use that whenever I want to use it, and just being thankful for those little things. Like anytime my girlfriend cooks me dinner, every single time that she cooks me dinner, every time we're done eating, I always say thank you. Every time. Say thank you very much for you cooking for me, because I know that not everybody has the that advantage in life. I think it's an advantage, and it's something of a blessing to have somebody cooking for you. That's like one of the most primitive, sacred things, like especially in a lot of your ancestors' eyes. Like anywhere you would go, especially in like the Asian culture or something like that, when you would go to somebody's house, you would have to show up with like food or something like that to show your gratitude.
Your gratitude, yeah. And you should always be, I mean, your girlfriend cooking you a meal. You know, even being grateful for having the sex that you have. You know, God, I am so grateful that you and I are together and we're doing what we do.
Making love.
You know, and I'm so grateful to have somebody to make love to and with. You know, another thing that I want to touch base on, no offense or anything, but I started watching my language.
Fuck you! No.
I started watching my language a lot.
Oh, okay.
And
sorry.
There's no, not that, not in that sense. In your words, when you say try, or when the sentences that, like one of the sentences that you had said was, I try to remember, or I try to be in gratitude, or I don't always remember things. That is a statement, and that is an action statement. So instead of saying it that way, turn it around and say, I always do my best and I always remember things. And instead of saying try, I will be in gratitude for this. And at first, it seems odd, and I didn't always do it like that. But then after I would remind myself, and I would tell myself, remember those action words. And I would actually stop and think when I would start to say something, and I would change my language. And it helps a lot. I still do it sometimes. I still sometimes will use different language, and then I will remember to myself and say, no, repeat what you just said. And even if you're just rephrasing it in your own head, and those words, and it helps a lot, trust me.
What does it help you with?
It helps on your focus, because when you're constantly saying, oh, I'm going to try to do this, I'm going to try to do that, or...
Is it like giving yourself an out when you say try?
Yeah. And
it's almost giving yourself an excuse to not do it. And if you don't do it, then it's just kind of you're off the hook.
Yeah, you're off the hook.
Versus saying, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, I'm doing it now.
Holding yourself accountable for it.
Exactly. And we should always hold ourselves accountable for every action that we take, even if it's a negative action. Or positive. Like the other day we were talking, and I was talking about what I had said to someone, and that was negative. But I held myself accountable. And I keep thinking about that because I'm so proud of myself for recognizing my accountability and holding myself accountable for that, and saying, hey, you know what? Be a man, stand up and apologize. Because it takes a lot for people to do that sometimes. But you know what? When you hold yourself accountable on the little things and start watching your language, it takes practice. Things might pop up that gets you to, get angry or whatever it is. But then you remind yourself, and sometimes you remember a little too late, but you still remember. And that's the key, is being consistent, and then it starts coming up more and more, and you start remembering. So it's practicing. Every day of life is a practice. So as we practice with our wording, watching what we say and how we say it, and how we respond to others, and we start to catch ourselves and hold ourselves accountable, it gets easier and easier and easier.
Because then it just becomes like a reflex.
That's right.
You just get used to doing that thing. If you're used to always running away from your problems, that's just going to be your natural pattern that you develop. But if you can reverse that and start holding yourself accountable for more and more things, you'll get used to that feeling of just owning up to your mistakes. And I've always been huge on that. I've always tried for years and years. It never sat right with me if I knew maybe I said something wrong to somebody or did something in a certain situation where I knew I was wrong and I didn't apologize. It never sat right with me. So I always had to fix it by walking up to that person or calling that person up and letting them know that I am genuinely sorry for what I did. I apologize. I didn't mean to. If you don't accept my apology, I understand, but this is me admitting that I was wrong, and I hope that you'll accept my apology.
And there's nothing you can do if they don't.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's nothing.
Once you do your part and you go so far, if they hold it to you or they continue with
hold it against you
or continue with it, then now it becomes their issue.
Now it's your decision to accept the apology or not. But
yeah, and it has nothing to do with you. And if you don't, then if they don't, excuse me, then that's them. You can't make yourself worry or still feel guilty for them not accepting.
As long as you know you did what you had to do.
Yeah, and you know what? You won't feel guilty if you're genuine.
No.
Because you're done. You let it go.
You'll only feel guilty if you're only apologizing to get their acceptance.
Exactly.
And that's the wrong way to apologize. But when did I mention that? A few podcasts ago that I said I think people use apologies the wrong way.
Yeah, I remember.
They don't use them in the correct way. You should apologize to make things right, not to just make yourself feel better. You know, if you piss somebody off and you did something that was wrong and you're only apologizing to hear what you want to hear from them, then that's the wrong way.
That's not genuine. Yeah, and you know what? It's going to eat you up.
Yeah, well, you know, if you're a decent person and you have somewhat of an intelligence, you'll know that in the back of your head that wasn't true. Some people, I don't know if they just hide it better than others, but some people can just live with themselves that way, or maybe they can't. I don't know what they're feeling, but
I think it's on their conscience.
Yeah, it's like they erase it and they start believing their own lies.
Another example is like I remember when I was telling you a year ago, I probably wouldn't have apologized for something that I've done. I probably would have continue arguing my own point, just even if I knew I was wrong, just to make myself right. And that would have to do with myself for my own feelings, so that I could just make myself feel better about myself, instead of owning up to myself and saying, "Hey, you fucked up," you know.
And it's hard for a lot of people to admit that they are wrong because it hurts their ego.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they don't want to look in that mirror and be like, "Dude, you were a piece of shit, man.
Yeah,
you were really
asshole."
No, yeah, you fucked up, and you may not want to hear it right now, but you're not a good person right now.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't want to believe that.
No.
They want to think that they're indestructible and that they can just go throughout their lives and have everything their way, and they're always right. And those are the worst people to be around. And if you recognize that in somebody, I think it should be not your responsibility, but you should call it out. That's why I love Peter, man. He don't give a fuck who you are. If you're acting like a dick or something, he disagrees with it, he's gonna call it out.
Yeah.
He's gonna be genuine about it. He's gonna be fearless about it, which I really admire. I think that's a good quality to have. In certain places and times, you gotta learn how to use it.
Yeah, you have to use it at the right way in the right time, and you can't go over and above on it in a negative way.
You gotta know how to use it. But if there's somebody who's acting up and nobody's calling them on their bullshit,
then there's the point.
Then
I'm sure everybody would be like, shut the fuck.
You need somebody to step in and do that. Like a lot of the times, bullies, they'll get away with shit because no one calls them out on it.
But on the other hand, too, when people are that way, they have to accept it for themselves too.
Oh yeah, their own medicine.
They have to take their own medicine, and a lot of people don't.
If they can, then hey, that's good. If you can't, then you need to realize it.
Yeah, you need to realize it again.
You need to toughen up. Sorry, we had a bathroom break really quick, but yeah, we were just talking about being accountable for your bullshit, and having those people around that are willing to call that out is something good. Yeah. I know for myself, I've always wanted to surround myself with people that if I was fucking up, they would let me know. That was like the first thing that I told myself when I started producing music. I told all of my friends that were around me and that were, actually watching me progress every day on, music production. I told them, please don't lie to me. Don't tell me what I want to hear. Don't tell me that I'm good if I really suck. because in the long run, that's just gonna hurt me, and I'm gonna end up being this guy who thinks he's really good, going around telling people that I got really good, I got good music, and reality I'm trash, and that's because you guys did that to me, and I wasn't able to see it myself. So if you guys see that I'm trash, and I'm asking you genuinely your opinion, I want you to tell me that and not be afraid to voice your opinion on that.
That's holding you accountable.
Yeah, I wanted to be held accountable for it. And I always live by that premise because I think it was a very important tool in my toolbox that would help me grow as a person, and it would develop my character better, because I'd be used to dealing with the reality of things and not having everything so sugar coated all the time. And a lot of people are afraid of that raw emotion. Yeah, that truth. That's the word I was looking for. They're afraid of the truth. So, and I think going back to what you were saying a little bit as far as gratitude goes, I kind of I forgot to write this down the other day, but I remembered. I think a huge thing that people are afraid of is the word love, and any relationship, friendships, families, anything, coworkers, whoever.
What does it mean to you?
Well, to me, it means that if I tell you I love you, it means I care about you. I genuinely want you to do good, and I need you to know that if anything goes wrong, you can always call me, and that I'm there for you. I care about your well-being. That's what love means to me. To be through by someone's side through any bullshit. No matter if you call me at 3 a.m. and you need me to come pick you up or something. If I love you, I'm gonna go do it.
I have a question for you. On a scale from 1 to 10.
3.
How much do you love yourself? Or how do you love yourself? Honestly, can you say that you...
I'll give you an answer.
Can you say that you truly love yourself more than anything in the world?
I don't think I love myself at all right now. In this current state, I think it's like a 1, possibly. I really don't love myself. And those are the demons that I'm fighting every day. I'm trying to, change that. I want to be able to love myself.
You don't need to try it, you will.
Okay, yeah, I will change that. I'm working on changing that.
There you go. That's perfect.
If I can be real with you and be real with myself, I don't love myself. Not right now. I care more about my partner and her happiness and the people around me, which was another thing that we were going to go into, is suicide, which was one of the reasons why I don't ever think I could pull the trigger and do that myself, because I have too many people around me that do love me, and that would be unfair to them just because I don't love myself. If these people weren't in my life, it would probably be a way different story. But as far as saying I love you goes, I think that it's important to let those people know in your life the life that you do care about, that you do love them. And I think it's an awkward thing for most people that they want to keep to themselves. Yeah, we all know it, but what's the first thing that happens when somebody passes away, like one of these famous people? All of a sudden everybody starts coming out and saying, oh my god, I was a huge fan, and this guy was so special and he has so much to offer. It's like, how come you guys waited until he was gone for you guys to express your emotions towards him and let him know how great he was? Why did he have to die for you to be true with yourself and say how you're really feeling? And I think that's something that we have to work on. It's something that I've worked on myself as far as expressing my true emotions towards my loved ones. I think that if you're, with your, really good friends or your family, I think it's okay for you to express to them when you're saying goodbye that I love you, hey, all right, dude, like, I'm out of here, love you, man. Just something as simple as that. Just letting them know.
They don't even think about that, though. Sometimes it's not even about if someone loves you or not. Like, when I attempted suicide, I was only 18 years old. I was living in LA area by myself, downtown LA, had a roommate, exited Job Corps. I'm not sure, did I tell that story?
No. I don't know.
No. Well, I'm gonna say it. So, my roommate worked in San Fernando Valley. I was working in downtown LA by the apartment, and then I lost my job because it was temporary agency. It was already during the holidays. I couldn't find another job. I was feeling more and more depressed with myself. I remember calling my family, are you coming up for the holidays? I couldn't even afford to do that. I didn't really feel sorry for myself. I was just tired of life. I just didn't care about life anymore. I didn't want to go on anymore. It didn't matter. So what I did was, the night before, I found a bottle of Bear aspirin, full bottle, and we had drinking bottles there. We had a bottle of tequila that was 3/4 of the way full. And I just wanted to go into the bathroom, drink all those pills, drink that tequila, and then just die.
You wanted to kill the bottle of aspirin?
Yeah, kill the
whole
bottle
thing?
of aspirin, kill the bottle of tequila, and kill myself while I was at it. But I didn't do that because I was thinking, okay, so what if my roommate needs to use the bathroom, come in, and then he saves me, so it's not going to happen. So what I did was, next day he was getting ready, he was going to work. He's like, hey, you told me to wake you up. I said, yeah, thank you. I'm going to go look for a job today. He's like, oh, yeah, don't worry about it, man. Just take your time. No problem. He worked in the Valley, which was an hour away from where we lived, downtown LA. And so he left. I went down to the liquor store, bought another bottle of bare aspirin, just in case the first bottle wouldn't work. Went back upstairs, went into the bathroom, locked the door just in case. I thought about writing a letter to my mom, my grandmother, and I said, you know what? Fuck it. Why does it matter? Why does the letter matter? Why do I have to explain myself? This is what I want. I want to die. And that's it. I just want to die. So I was in the bathroom, drank the first couple of gulps of tequila, got that burn off my throat, started to take some of the pills, down the tequila pills, finished the 2 bottles. Just sitting there, and I was just thinking to myself, I'm probably going to burn in hell or something for this, and, started getting hella drunk and stuff, and then I remember I passed out. Next thing I know, I was opening up my eyes, there was a bright light above me, I seen people in gowns, and I was just like, what the hell? And they're shoving something in my throat. And I felt like I was choking and gagging. And then I passed out again. So I woke up, it was about a day later, and it was bright. And I remember I looked to my right, and I seen the nurse fixing my oxygen tube that was on my nose. And she was a heavy-set black woman. And I looked at her, but I could see her real blurry. And I said, are you an angel or something? And she said, baby, if you would have done what you wanted to do last night, you wouldn't be seeing no angel. Trust me, you that.
Oh, shit.
She said, you be in somewhere else. And I was like, oh.
Did you finish the bottles of pills?
Oh, yeah, I finished
both pills?
Both pills. Yeah.
Dude, how are you not dead?
I know. So I just looked at her, and I kind of like turned to my side. And then it was quiet, and she said, you really wanted to do it, didn't you? Like, didn't say nothing.
No shit.
Yeah, I was like, I didn't say nothing. She said, I could tell. And I said, no. I didn't want to kill myself. I don't know what I was thinking. She said,
were you being sarcastic?
Yeah, I was being sarcastic. And I was trying to tell her, no, I wasn't, And she said, no, I know you were. She said, I could tell by the look on your face when I told you you weren't. She said, you were very disappointed that you weren't dead. You're very disappointed to wake up. She said, I knew that's what you wanted to do. So to make a long story short, we
have time. Go into
Okay. Well, I didn't know how I got there. My roommate showed up later on that evening and said, hey, I got off work. Are you okay? Like, yeah. He's like, dude, I got to work. And as soon as I got to work, I got a bad stomach ache. So I went to the bathroom, I threw up. I told my boss that I wasn't feeling good, and I don't know why. So he sent me home right after I got to work. So I drove home to the apartment. As soon as I got and parked the car, my stomach pains went away. But I decided to go up there anyways just to use the restroom. I felt like I had to go use the restroom and wash up. And I was in the bathroom. So he goes upstairs. He's going to go wash himself up. He knocks on the door. Nothing. The bathroom light was on, he said. Knocked. And then he decided to look underneath the door. And also he could see where my feet. But he saw the bottle of pills laying down. And so he started pounding on the door. And he kept pushing the door. And finally the door opened. And he seen me slouched over. I was sitting on the floor of the bathroom. My back was against the bathtub and shower. The toilet was on my left-hand side. And I was slouched over on the right side, he said, with my mouth down. And I had some stuff coming out of my mouth. So he called the ambulance. And they took me to the hospital. But when I wasn't responding, that's when they decided to tube my throat, to suction my throat out.
They pumped your stomach?
Pumped my stomach. Yeah, there you go.
So had he not come home, you wouldn't be here right now?
Oh, yeah.
That's heavy. That's heavy.
So...
That is one hell of a place to come out.
Yeah.
To come out from and be the person you are today.
But it wasn't because I didn't feel anybody loved me. I knew people loved me. I was just tired of life and the bullshit.
I understand that completely. 100%. Because at a certain point, you're not living for them anymore. You're just living to get through the fucking day.
Yeah.
And their feelings kind of become irrelevant at a certain point.
Yep.
And that almost, it just seems like a way out and an alleviation to this constant just fucking disappointment and this pain that you have to endure every day. Because you know you're just going to get up and it's going to be the same old thing. You're not going to, you're just unmotivated. And
Couldn't find a job.
You're tired of fucking dealing with this everyday bullshit. And it seems like that's the only thing that is going to fix the problem, I understand that completely.
And I was so bad that I was willing to risk that even if there was life after death, I would either suffer or maybe nothing would happen. I'd just be out.
You're just gambling it.
Lost or just nothing at all.
You're just rolling the dice, and you know what? Whatever happens.
And I didn't give a shit.
Happens.
Now I do. Shit, I love myself.
You know why you love yourself is because you know what it's like to be at that point. And you know what it's like to actually attempt, suicide on a real level. I just don't have the stones for it, I don't think that I can do it just because... I don't know. I just don't think I can do it because of my family. That's probably the only thing. Other than that, I think you're just a lot more brave than I am. I'm not saying that anybody should go do that by any means. I'm just saying that that's how deep that you were into the whole thing.
And now that I love myself even more than I did yesterday or last week or 5 years or 10 years ago. I love myself even more now that, my schizophrenia is not like it was. I could focus better. I'm not hearing these voices. I'm not part of a Illuminati, or Illuminati's not chasing me.
These scenarios.
This shit that was just in my head that I think about now. It's like, wow, that was hella crazy.
So do you look back on it now and think like, man, I was really, really, really far gone?
Oh yeah, I think back sometimes and think about how fucked I was, but there's a lot of stuff that I don't remember. Like, it was just like, there's so many things going through your head that your life is just so fucking scattered. And your brain is so scattered that so many things are going through there that you don't think. You just want it to be over. You just want it to end. And
do you think it's a way of just suppressing all those memories in a way?
Like now?
No, the reason why you aren't able to remember so much is it because you were under the influence or just because mentally you're trying to suppress it and a combination of both?
No, I it's not that I want to suppress it because I do my best to remember every single bit as I possibly can.
To deal with it.
So that I use that as my life purpose. So I use that as my strength in life. Because I don't look at everything that happened to me, even those who try to kill me or hurt me, I don't look back at that as something like, oh, poor me. I look back at it as I'm grateful I am where I'm at today. I'm grateful for who I've become today. And I'm not perfect. Life happens. Things happen. But I'm grateful for where I'm at. And I'm grateful that I'm able to love myself. And I could look at myself in the mirror. And I could love my thin hair. I could love my beautiful brown eyes. I could love my chubby cheeks. I could love my thickness. I could, I look down at...
Just embrace it.
I embrace myself. I look down at my man boobs, embrace my man boobs, and embrace my tires. And I am who I am. But you know what? I am who I've become. I've lost... 20 pounds from before, and I'm doing great, and my accomplishments are great, and I'm working on myself, and I'll always work on myself till the day I die.
And do you think that had it had been for those incidents that you'd be able to love yourself now?
I'm not sure. I can't answer that, honestly. I can't even answer that.
In a way, I mean, kind of, right? Because you were rock bottom.
Oh, yeah.
You were rock bottom, and, I mean, you tried to go even further, but something, whatever it is, an anomaly, something spiritual may have happened, but something didn't allow you to go further than that, which there's only one more way to go than that. I mean, you can go back up, and you started slowly working your way back to normalcy. And now you're at where you're at now. It's so much work. So much went into the place that you're in now. It didn't just happen overnight, but hadn't it had been for those incidents that you went through and you being at rock bottom, I think maybe it shaped you. It shaped you into this new person that you are now.
And I look back, when I look back before 5 years ago, I feel like my head was below the mud, where everything's hard to really even reach above my own head and pull myself out. I mean, my head is covered with mud. And then the last 4 years past, my feet were just in the mud. And I was,
slowly started rising out of it.
And now I'm walking on ground. Now I'm
You were drowning.
Oh, yeah, I was drowning in mud.
Yeah, you were in quicksand. And
there's a lot of people out there that are like that, and a lot of people out there that need to hear this. And if you are out there, and if you are the one that's listening, trust me, there's a way to get yourself out of that mud. There's a way to get yourself out of that situation. You have to take the first steps. The first steps that I took were getting myself medicated and getting myself to see psychotherapists, because I didn't believe nothing was wrong with me, because it was normal. It was all normalcy for me. Everything was normal. That's just the way it was. I was just fucked up, and that's how my life was. But you know what? Now, it's not the way it has to be. You move over. You get the help that you need. You provide your body and your mind with that help that you need. And life gets better. It gets so much better. And you accomplish so much more. And you become greater than you were. And you become above that mud. And you get onto solid ground. And you become that person who you want to become, who you're meant to become, who you dream of becoming. And that's who I am today.
And I think that when you did attempt to kill yourself, it's almost like that person that you killed was the old you, in a way, if you want to look at it like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you flatlined or not, but
I don't think I did.
But fuck that person who you used to be, You know what I mean? That person died right there in that bathroom that day, I think, and the new you was born after that. Slowly. You didn't. You maybe not. You maybe not have seen it at the moment, and you may have been disappointed when you did realize that you weren't dead yet. But slowly but surely, you were gonna start working towards the new person that you are now, the person that you have become, and the person who you're gonna keep becoming. That person died back when you attempted that.
Mm-hmm. And I don't regret it.
And it's just a chapter in your life.
That's exactly what it is.
And we all need these chapters to fill the book up.
It's what makes us greater. Like I said, we have to use those as stepping stones, lessons. We have to embrace who we are and use those stepping stones and lessons so that we're better us.
So with all that said, going back to what I was saying, do you think that it is important to tell the ones that you love them?
Oh, yeah. You should always...
Nobody should hide that.
Nobody should hide that. In fact, right now, if you're listening, there's somebody that you're thinking about probably that
Call
you want to just... Yeah, pick
Send
up
them
the phone.
a text.
An easy, simple text message. I was thinking about you, and I just want you to know that I'm here for you, and I love you, and, I hope you're okay.
I know it's hard for Peter to hear it too, but I always want to tell him that, and I need to just let him know, like before I knew that he was going through certain things and that he was struggling with what he's struggling with, I didn't know it. I was unaware. But that's when I started reaching out to him more and just calling him on a day-to-day basis and sending him a text message and just seeing how he is, because I love him, I want to make sure that he's okay, and I want to actively make an effort to be by his side if he ever needs me. He doesn't always have to call me, but he just needs to know that I am here. If he does need me, I'm not going anywhere.
That's right.
And that's what the most important thing is just, reassuring these people in your life that maybe feel like they're alone, they feel like they're left out of the picture, that if there's nobody to count on, that you could be that one person for them. And that kind of mends them as well as yourself. If there's any pain within you, you could work on yourself by trying to help somebody else and help them grow And just by being next to them and, being, there with open arms has a huge impact on both parties.
I'm sure there's people listening right now too that probably think that they have somebody in their life who did commit suicide and who aren't here anymore. And I'm sure they're probably thinking, oh, I wish they would have heard this podcast or heard anybody or sought out the help that they needed. And what I want to tell you, if you are that person who had somebody who committed suicide in your life, there's nothing you could have ever said or done to change their mind. And I'm telling you this from experience. Because you could have told them till you were blue in the face that you love them and that you don't want anything to happen to them and that they make your life worth it or no matter what it is. But I'm telling you right now, do not feel guilt about it because there's nothing you could have said or done that could have changed their mind at that moment. Because there was nothing that could have been said or done to change my mind at that moment. And I'm telling you this by experience. So if you have that guilt, release that guilt. Write that person a letter. They're not here anymore. Write them a letter. Tell them how much you love them. Tell them how pissed off you are that they did do that because they're not in your life and that they can't enjoy Christmas or the holidays or even going to the beach or to the park or whatever it is. Tell them. Write it. Get it off your chest. Write it down.
Live in the moment.
That's right.
If that's how you're feeling, you need to let that person know. Don't reserve those emotions. It's important. Otherwise, what the fuck is all this worth for if you're just going to hold it all to yourself? It's like being a billionaire and just saving all your money and not spending it. You got to utilize those feelings and get them out there and put them to work, And he's saying this because you shouldn't feel guilty or responsible for that happening, and for that tragedy in your life. It had nothing to do with you. It's just something that this person was going through, and it was already solidified in their minds that this was what was going to happen, and there was nothing that anybody could do to stop them.
That's right.
And it's not your fault. You have to realize that it's not on you. It's not on you. If there was something that could have been done, things would have, they would have gone different, but that's not, unfortunately, how it works. And you can't beat yourself up about it. Yep. You have to start the process of healing and repairing yourself and strengthening your mind.
And I'm sure people don't only just feel guilty about somebody who committed suicide. They probably feel guilty about somebody who just died by an accident, and that's hard too. Death is a very hard thing.
Yeah, I struggle with it as well. I mean, more times than I should. I think about it a lot. But there's always this one little thing that holds me back from doing it, and it's just the person that I'm with, because I think of how selfish, this is just my thinking, how selfish it would be of me to put that type of emotional damage on her, because it would fuck her up. And now she's fucked for life. And if, God forbid, anything ever happened to her because of me, then her family has to deal with the repercussions as well as my family. And I just go down this deep rabbit hole of the domino effect emotionally of how it's going to affect these people. And it prevents me from moving any further with that thought. Regardless, it is still a thought, which is reoccurring, which shouldn't be there. But that's why talking about it like this and having people in your life who understand what you're going through and are willing to reach out to you is so important, because you need to realize that it's not worth it.
Not at all.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm fucking competitive and I don't want to lose this battle. I don't want to lose this battle, man. I always say that. I'm going to fucking win this thing.
One of your biggest battles was the first 9 months of your life.
Yeah, I mean, my whole fucking life has been a battle, dude, and I don't want to lose this one.
You can't.
And suicide is a way for me to cheat the game and get out. And no offense to anybody who's ever attempted it, because I'm right there with you. I know exactly what you're going through. I can't do it, at least now.
There's not one human being on this earth that is exactly the same. Every single human being is created differently, and the only difference is some of us lasted 9 months, 7 months, whatever, their preemie, or even went over their time in the stomach, the wound. But once you got out of that wound and you took your first breath, you fought for 9 months. That's awesome. Shit, you fought when you were the coming out of the nut. You know, you. I mean, you know what I'm saying?
That's an instinctual thing. Yeah. I mean,
you know, you're the one. I mean, think about it. Billions of sperm, and you were that one.
I don't look at it that way though, because I feel like it's you're unconscious at that point. You're not a sentient being yet. It's almost like it's just an instinctual thing that, you know, is embedded in our DNA to survive, and that's just what we have.
And you still
naturally,
you're the one who fought all those other sperms and got there first.
But I feel like it had nothing to do with me though.
It did. It had everything because you were that one. You were that molecule that created you. So it did have something to do with you.
But not consciously.
You were a consciousness of a cell, which was alive.
No, something was driving me, and it wasn't my conscious.
That's
it was
right.
my DNA driving me.
And that's the same.
But that it still lives within you. That DNA still lives within you.
Yes.
No, but it's natural for people to want to survive. Yeah, and
that's right, because that's how it's been since you.
We're built to survive. I mean, that's what science says. I mean, we're built to reproduce. It's embedded in us to want to survive and thrive, and that's why that's why people have kids. You know, they want to procreate. They want to keep having families. It's a form of survival, keeping your bloodline alive.
I feel that's true, and everybody feels differently. I feel myself that the best survival for me to leave my impact on this world is to allow everybody to know that who they are makes a difference, and who they are creators of their own path.
And everybody has something to contribute. And the more that we contribute together, the stronger this mechanism, whatever that we're in, becomes. We're not individuals. Anybody who's done psychedelics could tell you that everything is connected. There's a connectedness to everything. It's all spiritual, and it's all one thing. It's not like anybody is separate from another. If you really look at it in a certain perspective, you'd be able to see that and realize that your actions they do directly affect everybody else as well. So if we could just all communicate on a more of an emotional basis rather than these plain words that are so hard to, you know, come across and embed into somebody's mind, there's loss of translation there. If I could just look at you and see what you're feeling versus trying to just tell you what I'm feeling, it'd be a whole different story. We'd be able to put all the BS aside and just be like, look, oh shit, look, he's feeling the exact same things that I'm feeling, all the anxieties and fears, and we share the common, you know, more or less the common goal, and which is we just all want to survive and get through this thing together and do it in a way that makes everybody happy. And if we can just all, you know, like I said, we all have something to contribute. If we can all just do it together and realize that we don't have to cut people off in traffic, and that we don't have to be an asshole over the phone when somebody calls us, or be rude to the fucking waitress at Applebee's, or, you know, anything like that. You don't have to be an asshole to these people or leave mean comments on somebody's picture because you're hating. We all have the same fucking thing.
And we've all got cut off, and we've all accidentally cut people off. So remember where you came from. You know,
yeah, exactly.
If they're not doing it on purpose, you know, people get all pissed off. Oh my God. Yeah. So they really picked you. Of all these cars out on the road, they specifically toned in on you and wanted to just cut you off just to be an asshole. No, come on. No, you don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know, they might have an emergency. They might have got a call from the school that their child got hurt. They might have gotten a call that their wife's giving birth. Or they might have gotten a call saying that your mom, dad, sibling, no matter who it is, only has a few hours to live and you need to get here quickly. Because they need to see you for the last time. Yeah,
there's no way of you ever knowing of what somebody's going through. You just have to consider that and train yourself to, when you are in the heat of the moment, try and, you know, react differently and put it in your head that, all right, look, you don't know what this person's going through, just let it go. And like I said, we all have the same thing in common. We're just trying to get through this thing and survive. That's why it's important that we all stick together, because there's strength in numbers. That's like the most common sense thing that there is. There's strength in numbers, and the more of us that we have, that's why they have support groups and stuff. The more of us that there are involved in this thing, the easier it's gonna be to move forward. That's why I don't understand this thing where that's a whole other thing to get into as far as politics of middle class, lower class, upper class. Man. It's such bullshit, dude. It's so monetarily driven that it's not even fair. I mean, we're all humans. We all have the same things within us driving us, keeping us alive. We all put on our socks 1 foot at a time, or however you want to say that fucking phrase. But we're all the same, dude. Nobody's different. Just because you have more money than me doesn't mean that you're better than me or I'm better than you. It doesn't mean anything. Because if you just sit down and have a conversation with, some of these people, you'll have a lot more in common than you think.
And that goes both ways. Some people think, oh yeah, I have more money than you, that I'm better than you, I have more toys, I have the boat, I have all this other crap, bigger house, I'm better than you. And then other people who don't have enough think, oh, I can never achieve that, or I'm not good enough. So that goes both ways. You're not better than us, and then remember on the other side, you're just as good as they are.
Well, the thing is that we have to share our blueprint. If you are successful, share that blueprint with somebody. A lot of people are just so eager to keep it to themselves because they're afraid that somebody's gonna reach that same level that they got to, and it's their ego talking. They don't want anybody to be on their same level because they want to be exclusive. They want to be the only ones that got to this level of wealth or, enlightenment. And a lot of people are afraid to share that blueprint. You gotta, if somebody's going through something, especially like your kids or anybody that you may know who's, struggling financially or something like that, and you're successful, I think it's very important to share, your past experiences with these people and show them how the hell you got from point A to point B alive. I think it's very important to share that. Like I said, going back to, I wish that my parents would have maybe gamed me up a little bit more. And I think people need to start doing that. All these CEOs and, the president and all these people of, financial power and positions of power with these incredible platforms to reach the masses, I feel like it's their responsibility to relay that message to the rest of the world. And that way we can all do this thing and we can all be on an equal playing field, because right now, whether you believe it or not, we're not on an even playing field right now. Some people are at more of an advantage and some people are at less of an advantage than others. And I think it's unfair because we should all have the same starting point. And if this person is struggling, I think you should, lend a hand. Feel better?
Lend a helping hand?
Yeah, I was trying to rant on while you were gone about sharing that blueprint with people and why it's important to show how you got from point A to point B. That was a zipper. I mean, don't you think so, right? I mean, these people that are in positions of power, like CEOs or people that have this platform where they have a voice and people listen to them, I think it's important for them to share how they got there.
A lot of them...
There should be free classes on that.
Oh, definitely. And a lot of them may have already been there. So a lot of it's inherited. But the ones who've struggled and came from where nothing was in their life and they've gotten themselves to where they're at, definitely they should share that. They should. And there's a lot of people who do, who write a book and...
Yeah, there's a lot of people who do.
Stuff,
but the ones that
not
are
enough.
the ones that are in charge right now, at least I'm seeing, they're not really sharing that. I mean, hey, man, it's up to you, but I think we all have the same thought as to how you got there, and I want to be there too.
We all want to be there. That's what we all strive for. It's all about growth, but we have to start. A lot of times we have to take the action steps that we need to do so that we could get there.
So we've been going for an hour now. I don't know if you want to keep going. That was pretty good, but there's a lot of other things I wanted to dive into. I don't know if you want to cram it in now or start it over.
Let's start it over.
Go for another one?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to wrap it up here. I think we had a pretty good conversation. We got into a lot of things, and there's so many other things that we want to get.
Stuff.
A lot of deep shit. That was a really interesting story that you told, and I know that there's a lot of people out there, if they hear this, when they hear this, they're going to be able to relate to it and just know you're not alone. You want to plug NAMI one more time?
Yeah, if you guys have any issues, if you know anybody with mental illness or you yourself are suffering with mental illness and you need that help, give NAMI a phone call. And the website for NAMI is www.nami.org. That's NAMI.org. Or reach out to them, and they have a crisis hotline, which is 1-800-950-6264. That's 1-800-950-6264. And you could also text NAMI to 741-741. So that's texting NAMI to 741-741. Text message rates may apply depending on your carrier.
And like I said, we're not sponsored by any of these people or this website in particular. We're just trying to relay the message. Exactly what I was going back to. We're trying to help in any way that we can. And the further that we get into this thing, hopefully we can start gaining little sponsors here and there. And if we do, we're going to do everything within our power to relay the message and
give
help
back.
And give back, because that's really what counts at the end of the day, and help you guys get through your struggles, because we're working on ours and you're seeing the progress as it goes. So
and always remember that who you are makes a difference in this world, and just focus on your dreams, take the actions going towards those dreams, and wherever you are in this world, thank you for listening. Bye.
We're the PO3 Podcast. My name is Marcus Marx.
And I'm Victor Jr. Bye.
See you guys later.